Good morning, children. Now, today we will continue with a chapter Dr. Goray and the Giggling Ghost. Before we start, let us recall what we had studied in the previous class. We have read that Dr. Goray has been greatly troubled by a giggling ghost. This ghost has bothered him so much that he seems to have lost his presence of mind. He has become absent minded and he thinks that he is going crazy and he has been doing crazy things. We saw, children, that this ghost giggles at him every time the doctor does something in an absent minded manner, and this is confusing him more and more. He is so furious at the ghost, which seems to be making fun of him by giggling at him at his every action, that he declared that he is going to catch it with a glass ball tied to a string, which looks exactly like a ball used for hypnosis, for hypnotizing people. Now let's continue with the story. We have seen that he has entered the room in an angry state of mind and once again wants to come out. But instead of using the open door, he uses the closed door. He wants to open the closed door. Now, this door seems to be stuck fast. The door had not been opened for years, as it had been painted with layers of paint over the years. The door was stuck fast, because the painters had painted over the door frame with thick enamel paint, layer upon layer. It had not been opened for years, and as Goray tried pulling it, it would not open. It was very difficult to open as it was stuck fast, we already know. But Dr. Goray thought that this was another trick of the ghost. Just as the door was jammed and he tried to open it, and he thought that the ghost was taking a revenge from him. Because each time he would tug at the handle, pull the handle, the giggling sound became louder and louder until it became almost unbearable for Dr. Goray was out of his wits. It means that he was so worried that he did not know what to do next. He even was running with a temperature. And what did he do? He put the thermometer in his mouth and looked at himself in the mirror. We already know that the indelible ink was upon him. So it made him appear to look like a blotted piece of paper, a blotting paper which has been used to remove ink. His cheeks were crimson, that is red in color. Beneath the inky forehead, he looked completely crazy. As he heard the giggling of the ghost again and again, he lost his temper. Little whirls of steam began curling up from his ears as he went thumping across the room on his round and flat feet and threw himself against the closed door. Now, do you think Steve was coming out of his ears? No. But the writer again here has used this exaggeration to explain how, the comic situation, the comedy that was there in this behavior of Dr. Goray. He wants to bring out the humor. The writer wants to bring out the humor. That is why he's explained that little whirls of steam, smoke was curling from his ears, was coming out from his ears. Now, what happened next? The door, which had been suffering from the repeated attacks by Dr. Goray, suddenly flew open with a blast and took Dr. Goray with it. For a moment, the doctor was stunned. He was too, stunned to move. And because there was sound like 100 conch shells. You know what are conch shells? Conch shells are shells, seashells, which you blow and which, a strange sound comes out of it. this sound was coming in his head because it was not actually there, but he was just imagining it. It was coming in from his head. He was thinking about it. Now, after it subsided in his head, he was speechless. He was dumbstruck by what he saw. Now, this brings out the real humor in the story. What do you think, children, it was? He saw the giggling ghost. And what was it? Of course, it wasn't a humanoid balloon, but it wasn't a grinning Rakshasa. It wasn't even an extraterrestrial being. It was just an old sink with ancient plumbing and old tap which had run dry for years as it had not been closed properly. And since it had not been closed properly, the sound of the half closed tap was ki 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 ki, and this sound Dr. Goray thought, was being made by the poltergeist, that is the ghost. Now, Dr. Goray next day called the plumber, Sant Singh, who repaired the washroom tap, and with a few tinkering with the metal folding, the wrench which is used to fix the taps, the kiki stopped and a shiny new tap was installed on the basin. Now Dr. Goray took a deep sigh. Sigh of relief that Dr. Goray made was so strong that the sound of whoosh made the postage stamp fly all over the room, which looked like a rain of Xeroxed popcorn. But Dr. Goray was too relieved that actually he had not been pestered by a ghost, he had not been troubled by a ghost, but the ghost turned out to be just an old tap in need of repair. Okay, children, thank you. That ends the lesson. Worksheet is going to follow. Please do that carefully. Thank you.